Hey, Susan. I was hoping somebody would show up. This is going to be a really boring live stream if it's just me here petting my cat. I don't know, just saying. Hey, Sharon. Haven't seen you in a while. Yeah. Just to make sure you know that I'm not just here messing with a severed head or something like that. I got the whole cat. Brought the whole thing with me today. No, it's been really hot here. In fact, you look at the weather in Waco for the next. Oh, actually, let's just do it this way here. Hold on. Get it set up here. Yeah, this is our weather here in Waco. We're in the cold part of the week right now. It's going to be 99 today. I look there for the next foreseeable future. I don't see a whole lot of rain, and it was going to give us a lot of rain this summer. Hasn't happened yet. And now I heard this morning. I heard that they're saying, "Oh yeah, the El Nino is going to make it a really rough winter this year." So yeah, I'm sure that'll be as accurate. But that's what happens in Texas here. We get a little bit of summer sun in the summer. For some reason, it tends to be a little on the hot side here. As I've said before, the great thing about weather in Texas is about the time you start getting tired of it, it changes. Right, right. And you don't ever have to worry about that. It's always comfortable in here, isn't it? The only thing you got to worry about is you're going to sleep by the front door or sleep in your bedroom, right? That's the worst thing you got to worry about. And the occasional lizard that gets in the house. Did I not post the last live? If I did, that was an oversight. And let's check here. Manage my videos. There's the lives. Oh yeah, it's still private. Holy cow. Let me make sure I dealt with the ads here. Because one of the things, YouTube puts in way, way, way too many ads. And so I usually go in and edit them. Yeah, okay, I edit them. There's one about it, these little hash marks here that you see, those are where the ads are on the video for last week. And so I got one about every 15 minutes. So you can see here, this is 30 minutes, this is an hour, hour and a half. So you can see basically every 15 minutes I have it. And I guess I went in and programmed all that, but I didn't make it go live. Yeah. Yeah, I know what I'm doing because see, it shows it's still private here. Okay, well, let's fix that. There you go. It's live. All right. Yeah, that happens. I guess I went through all the trouble of public. Oops. It is now though. You can go watch it now. Wow. Well, time to buy you some more treats, isn't it? We're almost out of this one. Yeah, you like the treats, don't you? You bit that one in half. Half the shrapnel hit me. Thanks. Ow! Whoa! Careful, dude. That's my finger you're chewing on. It's not a treat. That's my finger. Okay, he's confused right now. Yeah, I've had that for a long, long time. My parents, when they were alive, after they both retired, they traveled a lot. And one time, one of their trips, they'd take cruises and stuff like that. And so one of the cruises, I guess, kind of covered that area, and they went to Germany among other places. And those are authentic German steins. In fact, when Jordan and I did the video of Oktoberfest in Huntington Beach way back when. We each brought one of those steins and we're drinking beer out of them. So, yeah, that's a cool collection. I don't know. That's always the challenge every week is What am I going to put for the cover photo? And I looked at that and said, that's it. That's what it's going to be. Since he walked away here, we'll throw some kitty treats around, see if he finds them. Now, I had a pond in my backyard in California, and I'm pretty much over that. I did get to the rock shop last week. I've got a couple of little things. I showed you, let's see if I can pull it up here. I really like this feature that YouTube added recently where you can, cut into, the things other than just this ugly mug. Let's see. Yeah, this is the one. It's not that picture. I want this. There we go. That's the picture I want to show you here. Okay, let's cut away here. I got to see this thing in person, and this thing is amazing. And unfortunately, it's amazingly expensive too. So, I was originally, let's see if I can find the other one. I was originally looking at this one because that one was really amazing. But that was a little on the pricey side. And then she says, "Oh yeah, you're going to want to see this one. This one. Look at the size of that thing. And that thing, that the dollar is there for comparison. And I mean, that thing is 18 inches long from side to side. It's also massively expensive, but I decided that's got to be added to my collection. So I made a down payment on that one. That one's going to take several payments to get. And I told Kara, if I'm getting this thing, it's not going to be it's not going to be a lot of other sales for a while. But look at that thing. That thing's awesome. So you'll get to see that in probably about a month. But that one's really, really cool. But I did get a couple of other little things. Kara thought it was a shame that I spent money and didn't get to walk out with anything. So she basically kind of gave me a couple of fun little agates that she was just kind of giving away. She's got a little thing she's doing right now. If kids bring in their report cards, she'll give them a free rock. And she's got this little box or a couple little boxes with stuff. And she gave me a couple of these. I actually picked these out specifically because they both kind of did some kind of fun things under the black light, under the UV light. That one looks really cool, and that one too. It's really hard to see it. I wish the camera did a better job. It kind of washes out a little bit, but that was pretty cool. And then this one also kind of did some fun stuff. Yeah, hang on. I think I got to do adjustment on this again here. Maybe the battery. maybe the batteries just died. Oh, there it goes. But that one kind of was fun under a black light too. This is the shortwave light, and I didn't even realize it did that until I got home. And I actually contacted Kara and sent her video of what that did, but she wasn't aware of that. You know, I just said hit it with a black light, see what it does. And so I picked out the two that I liked that did something under the black light. And then I got this little piece too. This is a piece of pyrite and calcite, and I just thought it had some really interesting patterns and like little caverns and stuff like that in it. You know, that was kind of a fun piece. So that's really all I got. And like I said, Kara was concerned that I went in and spent so much money and then didn't walk out with anything. So yeah, I think you mentioned something about the Baylor bear claws. Like I said, that just seems like that would be such a natural thing. Yeah, the thing I showed you the picture of, that's called a grape agate. Like I said, it's about this big. It's huge. When it becomes a part of my collection, it'll be the most expensive piece by far. It's the first thing I've ever had to actually make payments on. But it will look amazing. It's amazing under the sun. You know, I got Kara trusts me enough as a customer. She'll let me take stuff outside and look at it under the sun, and she'll literally say, "Hey, yeah, you got to take that one outside and look at it." And so I said, and I really wanted to see that other piece too. And so I said, "Can we bring them both outside? I'd like to see them side by side." So she took one, I took one, and we brought them outside, and they're amazing. They're so sparkly. Hey, Darth, welcome to the group. Hi, Gene. How are you? Wow, I just said that, didn't I? Hi, Gene. Yeah. Hello, Gene. Yeah, we were just showing rocks. Actually, I showed you this one last week, Darth. And let's see, hang on. This one here I showed you last week. And that one is massively expensive. It's massively massive. And I've actually made a down payment on that. So that one will be mine in probably about a month. So that one's going to be really cool. Like I said, I really went in to look at this one. And let's see, do we have any other pictures of that? Yeah, I guess I don't like the way YouTube does or Facebook does this, but that's the way it goes. Let's see here. Oh, come on, work with me, Facebook. But yeah, there's that piece, and that was the other one I wanted to look at, but you know, gonna get that other one here, so that ought to be really cool. I did not see any longhorns in the cavern. Hey, Tracy. Yeah, that's the way I try and spin it, Gene. But hey, it's going to take several payments to get that one. Oh yeah, you missed bite a little bit at the beginning, but I also got a couple. I also got a couple little pieces that I got. This was kind of just a fun little piece of pyrite and calcite. And I like the fact that it had all these funny little caverns in it, little holes in it. Makes it look kind of cool. So that was kind of fun. Just a little piece, but it's pretty. The silver stuff, that's pyrite, often referred to as fool's gold. But I just like I like the like the patterns and the lines and stuff like that. All the funny little cavities in it. So we got that, and then Kara was sad that I came into the store and didn't really walk out with anything. So she gave me a couple of little pieces of agate, and basically they were really cool under the black light. So you know how I like that. And then this one too. This one doesn't seem like much on one side or even on the other side, but once again, it's pretty cool under a black light. So got those, and I found out when I got home that this one does something really cool. Yeah, I don't know what it is in my light here. It doesn't want to come on here. There it goes. I think the switch is maybe wearing out a little something. But that one does something under the shortwave light that I thought was really cool too. So that was kind of fun. Yeah, he spends a little less time out here net these days. He'll come out for his treats a little bit at the beginning, and then he goes back to his room. His treats and his brush. It's good to have the boss back. It was a crazy week, but the long weeks are always long. But the neat thing about the long weeks is I go into my long weekend. So I don't have to go back to work until Thursday now. So hopefully I want to get the porch done this week. And I think there's maybe 2 more episodes in that. Because the first thing I want to do is I want to get the electrical cleaned up and make that look better. And I got to figure out exactly how I'm going to do that. Weather has been hot. Yeah, it's like upper line 90s, lower hundreds for the foreseeable future. So it's a hot summer this one. I mean, usually it's hot in the summer, but usually lower to mid 90s. Haven't actually seen Flash this morning yet. I'm sure she's fine. She was out and about last week. And of course, she made her appearance on the live stream last week because I had her inside the whole time. Let her escape the heat a little bit. She dropped a big Duke right there. So I had a little mess to clean up after the live stream. I heard it happen too. It was disgusting sounding. And I knew what had happened. Yes, she did. And it was a flash poo. Yeah, the joys of being a pet owner. Well, I knew it was there because, like I said, I heard it. I heard it during the live stream, and so first thing I did is after the live stream, I went and found it, and it was right where I thought it was, and I cleaned it up. But yeah, it was not pretty. Yeah, I think we need proof of life from Mitch McConnell, and we got to start putting some age limits. Politics was never meant to be a lifelong career. You're supposed to get in and get out. I think we need term limits on all that stuff. Yeah, I probably almost could have gone with a higher pressure one. It took a little longer to do the pressure washing than it might have, but I think I did fine with it. That was, you know, that was suitable for the job, and I got it done. And now, like I said, I want to get the electrical done this week, and basically put that whole control thing for the tape strip, for the LED strip, get that in a box so that I can hide it away and paint it and make it, kind of blend in with the house a little bit because I'll paint it the same color as the house, and then it'll look good. And then we'll just paint the whole porch area there. I think it'll look nice when it's done. It's one of those things that kind of add to the property value kind of thing. It was like a big juicy fart. I mean, I could tell it was mostly liquid. Yeah, it was gross. Yeah, I suppose that's part of it, Gene. Hey, I've been ruining people's breakfast for years now. I think with the paint, I may actually pull out the sprayer because I have a paint sprayer. I bought well, I got it. My parents bought it for me when I painted my house in California, and I thought that would work better than a roller because of the that was the only way that was going to work because the stucco on the outside of the house was so coarse that I'd never do it with a roller or even with a paintbrush. I'd never get good coverage. So I had to have the sprayer. And like I said, my parents bought it. I haven't used it since then, but it did a really good job. And I bet you it'll do quick work of the porch area. So, and there's a lot of texture on the porch area too. So that's why I'm kind of thinking doing that over using a roller. I could probably get away with a roller, but I think we will actually do the sprayer. I think it'll be easier. It'll go quicker. Well, I'm a little bit more concerned about the wall on the one side there because it's like panels. So between each panel, there's like a half-inch gap that's like maybe a quarter of an inch deep. And that's going to be really hard because I'll have to get in there and do each one of those with a brush. But if I do it with a sprayer, it'll I think turn out better. So I think that's what we're going to probably end up doing. No, no, you can't. It doesn't go all the way through. It's paneling. It was probably bought that way. I don't think it's individual panels. I think it was probably sheets of it that they attached. But I'm going to leave the posts the way they are. There's a couple posts that support the porch area, and they're natural wood color. And I love the dark natural wood color. So I'll mask that up so it looks good. I think that was also part of the reason, Susan, that I went with a lower power pressure washer because I was concerned that if I went with too high power, the that it might either peel the paint off or even damage the wood. So I haven't really worked on the backyard thing for a while where the pool was, just because it's been really hot, and I kind of got to get inspired to do that. So it may be a little while. Like I said, I don't want to be out there in the 100-degree temperature doing it, but we'll get going again at some point. Probably when you get into the fall. Yeah, I mean, I was halfway wondering if I was going to change the color of the roof under the patio cover and do that kind of the same what I do with the rest of the house. Because the rest of the house, the common theme is I have this white on the ceiling, and I was sort of thinking I might even drag that outside and paint the ceiling outside white too. But I think I'm just going to stick with the color of the house. I think that'll look better. That's one of the neat things too about living in a non-HOA area. If I choose to paint my house, I can paint it whatever color I want. But I do like the color it is. It's good. Yeah, I think it's just I think it's just that. I think it's plywood. I would guess that probably at one point it was open and they covered it up. It probably had just like the uh, the slats supported the ceiling and supported the roof. Yeah, yeah, it's nailed in there. That's one of the things also we'll hide a little bit better with the paint because we'll fill in some of those holes and you won't see it. That's one of the things too I've noticed odd about Texas houses is that like the drywall inside the house, in California, it's screwed in. The drywall here, on the other hand, is nailed in. So that's that's interesting. I think all the critters in the yard, though, mostly live in the trees. It was mostly the nests that were there were the mud daubers that I told you about. I showed you the picture of, and apparently they like places like that because those little mud cocoon things that they build for their nests. Apparently, they paralyze spiders and put the spiders in there, and the spider lives. And when the larva needs something to eat, they eat the live spider. And so they say that it's very common that they build them in an area near where there's a lot of spiders. So well, and there I don't really even cause a lot of traffic. I very rarely go through that door. 99% of the time, I enter the house through the garage because it's a matter, you pull the car into the driveway, back it into the garage, you walk from the garage into the house. So it's funny, the few times where I do come into the house, I from the front door, I actually got to search for which key it is because I use it so infrequently. I don't remember which key it is. Ooh, blueberry cobbler sounds good. Yeah, tasty. I agree. Blueberries. Oh yeah, I got a lot of that gumbo. That gumbo got better with age. I got to admit, having it all sit together, um, and kind of blend together, all the flavors really blended together nicely. So yeah, I put it in two big jars, and one of them I threw in the freezer. So we'll pull that out and we'll eat the rest of it in a month or two. But I'm mostly done with one of the jugs, and we'll definitely blow through it this weekend. The peaches I've had so far at HEB aren't that good yet. Sometimes it takes a little while to get into the summer before they get really sweet. I thought they were a little bland and flavorless at this point, but give it time, they'll get better. They always do. That's the thing that sucks about peaches, though. You can only get them for like a month or two. Well, I always get peaches a little bit not ripe yet, and then I put them like in paper bags and let them ripen for a day before we put them in the fridge. They get nice and soft, and that's usually when they get nice and sweet too. That's one of the reasons why I want to have a peach tree in the garden when we build that. No, I just keep seeing activity outside the house. There's a lot of people out and about today. You kind of you see motion kind of off on the side here and kind of catches your eye. No, more just people walking. Probably want to get out and get their walking and their exercise in early before it gets too really hot out. Oh, I'm having a little problem with the computer today, so I don't have the maps videos running. The computer's been a little flaky this morning, so we'll take a look at it later on today, figure out what's going on. I think it's just some software thing. Yeah, that was something I learned a long time ago. It works really well. You don't want to put them in plastic bags because then they get moldy. But the paper bags, they get nice and soft and they get enough. I think it holds the CO2 in there, and that kind of makes them ripen a little faster. And they get soft and they get sweet when you do that. That peach ice cream I made here was some of the best ice cream I've ever had. I want to go back and do that again. Turned out so good. Yeah, it was in the description. Go find the video. The recipe should be there. I don't know, I have to go see which one, if I can find it here real quick. Yeah, it's episode 935. And yeah, the recipe's there. So yeah, check it out. I did chocolate at one point. It turned out all right. Like I said, the peach was the first one with me just kind of experimenting with it. And it was so good. I haven't done nachos, but nachos seems to be actually pretty simple. You just get the chips, the melted cheese, and whatever else you want to add to it. In my case, jalapenos, that would always be good. Fresh, not canned. That works too. Yeah, I mean, chicken is good on nachos. Black olives. I don't know. I know that's sort of an acquired taste, but I love black olives. I don't know about spinach. I like spinach, but I can't necessarily think of that as nachos. Oh, of course, cold beer. I don't know if I've ever really tried Greek food. Guacamole is good. I like guacamole. Don't know if I'd necessarily do it on nachos. Doesn't seem to work there, but who knows? Might be good. It's funny. I don't usually like avocados, but guacamole is good. Funny how that works. Tomato, yeah, tomato's good. Onions, that's good. I've seen people put like ground beef in there, and that's pretty good. Well, it's got to be cheese that melts. So, I'm even thinking like that Velveeta cheese. That's probably what you want to go with because it's got to melt into a kind of a creamy sauce. And a lot of cheeses don't melt that way. I have 3 restaurants, huh? Funny, everybody has Google these days. Never had lamb, I gotta admit. Hmm. I don't know. The only person here to eat treats would be me, and I don't know. These don't look that appetizing. Maybe not for me. Mike sure seems to like them though. Actually, Rhonda popped up on the Facebook page a few days ago. She apologizes for her absence. There's just been things that she's had to deal with, but she said she'll be back soon. So we'll see her again. Anywhere soon? No, I don't have anything in the plans. I have been thinking that I may take a couple of days off of work just before we go into maintenance interval because it looks like again the schedule around the maintenance interval isn't going to allow me a lot of time to do any travel during that time. So maybe I just need to take like a week off and just, I was just thinking just getting out and driving, see where we end up, go just head north maybe, going to Oklahoma or something like that, take a look around. And yeah, sometime I'd have to have reservations for Yellowstone. That isn't, and that's one of those things you got to kind of do like, like a year in advance too. Yeah, I went. We went when we were kids. My parents were really big into family vacations to national parks, so that's sort of what inspired my desire to go back there because I know so much more about Yellowstone now. Been to Yosemite many times. Yosemite's beautiful. Now Branson is more of a Jordan kind of vlog. That's not my kind of thing. Mount Rushmore would be fun. I'd go see that again. We saw that also when I was a kid. Like I said, my parents were big into the national parks, so we, every year for family vacation, that's what we do is go visit a national park. See, we never did. We never went. Probably, I don't think we ever crossed the Mississippi in terms of family vacations. It was always on the west side of the Mississippi, and so that would be something, And I definitely want to see Big Bend Park here in Texas. That's supposedly beautiful. And it might be fun to head east too. I mean, in terms of like on the East Coast or East Coast area, I really haven't visited that a lot. I had a layover once in New York, but that's the only time I've ever been in New York. Was in Boston once. That was kind of fun. Been to Florida, been to Alabama, but that's really about it. My hotel was right on the Boston Commons, so it was kind of fun to, walk from the hotel to some of the places that, so much history was done in that area. I've been in the bar that inspired the TV show Cheers. That was down there. And I was supposed to be there at the end of October, and somebody I worked with suggested I had to go visit Salem, Massachusetts. So I went to Salem, Massachusetts on Halloween. That place was awesome. That's a place I'd love to go back and vlog. Savannah is supposedly really beautiful. He did do Salem? Okay, I guess I missed that one. Oh yeah, I bet you I'd get really good gumbo in Louisiana, no doubt about it. I think I'd be concerned about going to New Orleans. I think there's too much crime there. That place has gone downhill. It'd be a fun place to visit if it was safe, but I'm not sure how safe it is. Yeah, I liked going to Florida. I traveled there for a convention once. That was when I was working at the CD factory, and we'd go to trade shows and stuff like that. That was something I really loved about working at that first place. Is I'd go to two, three trade shows a year. They were fun. Just sit in the booth and help sell CDs. And of course, it was fun to kind of walk around and see the stuff that was there because it wasn't just like CD replicators. It was, you know, people showing hardware, software, technology, all sorts of fun stuff. I'll tell you the place to go in the winter is Hawaii. Because nobody goes to Hawaii in the winter, and so you get the whole place. But it's never cold in Hawaii. In fact, Matt, when he used to live in Los Angeles area near me when I lived there, he moved to Hawaii, and then he came back at one point for you know like just a visit, and he forgot that he couldn't just wear shirt pants 24/7 like he does in Hawaii. He was got getting cold. He didn't even have any long pants. Well, the things that I like, that I vlog, it's got to be something I'm really into, and I'm not really into football that much, you know. So I don't know. The country? I don't think they got a whole lot of tectonic plates in the Grand Canyon. That's more of a West Coast thing, and I've actually been right in the middle of the San Andreas Fault. they're better far away from them too. Having lived near them most of my life, I don't like earthquakes. And where I lived in California, in the house, there was a there was an earthquake fault that was like 3 miles from my house, and it moved periodically. I mean, I know I've shown you guys this before, but we'll look at it again here. Let's see this. This is the earthquake map from the USGS of California. All those red lines are faults. Look at all of them around Los Angeles. That big red going, that's San Andreas. And I used to live right about here. So you can see how many faults were in the immediate area, because I lived right here in Placentia. Right there, that was a big one. That was the what do they call it? The what it ends up. Yeah, the El Meteor Fault. And so yeah, see, that was a pretty big one. There's all these little ones. That was a pretty major one. Usually, the longer they are, the more powerful earthquakes they make. And San Andreas, that's the big one right there. That's the major plate down here. Goes all the way up the middle of California. Reload the images. And right through the middle of San Francisco before it goes out into the ocean. You know, a lot of them in California, a lot of them in Nevada. You see all sorts of earthquakes here from all the little ones. By the time you get uh, you don't run into them as much. And it's fun, Texas here. This is like West Texas, you know, Lubbock and stuff in Midland, Odessa. Look at all the earthquakes that happened there. And there's very little fault activity here because what's happening here, this is where they're doing so much of the oil drilling, and the ground is subsiding because they're pulling the oil out of it. Look at all those earthquakes. But you get over here to Waco, and there aren't any anymore, because there's Waco right there. Yeah, I'm happy I live in a place where there's not very many earthquakes. I've done a bunch of caves. In fact, I'm wearing a T-shirt from one of them. I did. I've probably done what 3 or 4 caves recently. In fact, well, since I started vlogging. In fact, one of them called a cave without a name. We had a big rainstorm that blew through here, and it flooded the cave, returned the whole thing into an aquifer. And if I lived down near the down near San Antonio, which is where it was, I would have gone and visited, because when the rain happened and the cave flooded, they were offering tours down to the water where you could see that. And I think it would be really cool to be able to do to cut away, show scenes when I went through there before and then what it looked like now. But it only lasted for, a week or so. And then all that water kind of just settled and was gone again. But it was weird that whole thing was flooded pretty much. Yeah, we've gone from Mayor Koch to Mayor Mondami. If I hear that they've done something with that bat colony, I would love to go see that again. That was so much fun. That was that was really amazing. Yeah, that was down in College Station, I think. Was that College Station? No, Huntsville. It was Huntsville, Texas. Because last I heard, that building was like on the verge of collapse, and they were trying to figure out what to do. Well, it was at the Huntsville Federal Penitentiary, and it was like a service building across the street that they used to house like where the offer the prison guards would sleep. And they've been really concerned because if that building collapses, the bats will have to find someplace else to go. And they were saying they'd like be invading people's attics and stuff like that, looking for places to stay. I have thought about putting a bat house in the backyard. Yeah, well, and we saw them too. I mean, I showed that video. Uh, Basically, the second I started seeing bats coming out of that place, I turned the camera on, and I didn't stop until the bats were done. And it had to be 20 minutes, and it was millions of those things coming out of it. They're supposedly down near, or kind of on the way, I think, down to Houston. There's like a freeway underpass that has a big colony too. I don't know. The computer's acting a little weird this morning. It kept locking up on me, so I didn't put the video on today. Yeah, I don't know exactly what's going on. That must be it. I left the windows open. But I don't know. What do I call it? What do we call a sleeping bull? No, no, I got bulldozer. Oh, oy. No, and I got a real aggressive antivirus program on there too. I think it's just like a driver problem. Something's locking up. We'll look into it, figure out what's going on. Yeah, that was one of the most amazing vlogs I ever did. I mean, I remember when my parents and my sister and I went to Carlsbad Caverns. There's a colony of bats that live there too, and we went and saw them, come out of there at one point. I didn't stay there that time to do it, but yeah, that was amazing too. I don't know. I've seen a bunch of meteor showers, but that would be a night I could do it. I'd have to look and see exactly where, what part of the sky I have to look at so I can make sure I'm in a good area. Right now, this is kind of a bad area to do it because there's so many trees. You know, I love trees. Don't get me wrong. That's why I love where I am. But the trees don't make for a very good sky gazing. Maybe we go down to Lake Waco though and find some place down there to watch them. Yeah, I saw the email. Did you send me another one? Because I saw the one. Yeah, it was that one, right? Yeah, I don't think this is a virus. We'll maybe run a virus scan, see if that catches anything. But I don't think it's a virus. I think we just got a driver that's maybe needs to be updated or is glitching or something like that. Yeah, I suppose we could do that. See what's going on with the lake level because it's been such a hot summer. See if it's gone down a little bit. I don't know. I guess I get a little concerned about doing the same thing over and over again. I do like the fact that bridge is in town though. I can go see that. Yeah, there's some really bizarre things at the bottom of the ocean. imagine the amount of pressure on that. Yeah, the wrecks too. Now that's on a deserted desert island. That's not in the bottom of the ocean, or more likely in a soundstage somewhere in Hollywood. Good seeing you again, Gene. See you next time. Yeah, I think it'd be fun to go see Pearl Harbor. I flew over it once because I used to, go visit Matt in Hawaii a few times back in the day, and a few times I had to fly into Honolulu, and so and you could see the memorial from above. Oh yeah, but Mondami's not gonna listen to anyone. He's already referring to anyone that doesn't want him there as an Islamophobe. Yeah, we're getting a long way away from things like Pearl Harbor. Yeah, I'm surprised they didn't make more of a deal of that. But yeah, as we get further away, everybody who was there, it's the same thing with like the Holocaust. We're losing all the Holocaust survivors too. I know they're starting to wind up a little bit at the silo, but haven't talked to John yet. But I tend to participate. Might be able to do a little bit more this time because they're talking maybe that the maintenance interval at work may be a little bit extended, and that may give me an extra couple of days to go. So I don't know. We'll see what happens. I like doing it, and even though I can't do it, I can't do it as much as I'd like to. I like the part that I can do. I don't know if I'll sleep outside. I've done that before, actually. I've got a tent. I put the tent out in the backyard and slept outside before. It would work better if I knew how to play guitar. And really, if you're going to do like a camp out, it's got to be an acoustic, not electric. I think the neighbors might object to me playing an electric guitar in my backyard at 2 in the morning. I don't know. I haven't decided. I might pull out some more of the gumbo I made. That was really good, and it got better with time. It was. Yeah, I don't think it had enough time to kind of blend all the ingredients together. But letting it sit in the fridge for a week, it's really gotten good. And you got to put that hot sauce in it to give it a little bit of a boost. It almost looked in the recipe like they suggested that you mix in the bottle of hot sauce when you're cooking it. Yeah, I can imagine the neighbors will be playing Hendrix at midnight. There's a whole bunch of them in Texas. There were a couple of them that I didn't get to when I was in the in the San Antonio area because there's a whole bunch of caverns right there. But I've gotten to visit a lot of them, and they're fun. I love going caving. No, I've never had problems with claustrophobia. No agoraphobia either. Yeah, I prefer the caves that you can walk in. I mean, some of the ones I do, you have to kind of duck your head sometimes, but oh, God help me if I had a rockophobia. Fanophobia, however, is another thing. I'm terrified of fans. Bring myself up a little better here. No, my eyes just for some reason start bugging me a little bit during the live streams. I don't know why. I'm not tired. I slept well last night. Probably just need to put some eye drops in. Stay tuned. See if that does any better. No, I mean I was never going to be a big uranium glass collector. I just saw Kara had some in her store at one point, and I thought it was kind of cool. And I went looking for a few pieces, and I found a few pieces. But yeah, I'm done collecting that. I have enough. It's cool, and it's an interesting little thing. But it wasn't going to be as much of a collection as like the rocks are. I like the rocks better. It is cool to have it though. Well, I'm learning more tricks um, that enable me to do better at work. But There's so much to learn, and I like the fact that there's the opportunity to learn. That's the fun part. It's a good job. I like doing it. I feel like I've accomplished something. The squirrels are out. I just heard a pecan fall off the tree, hit the roof, and go boom, 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 roll off the roof. Yeah, if I take that week off, like I said, I was just thinking about going north, and that could include a trip to northern Texas, maybe even to Oklahoma. See what's up there. I'd like to think that I've done some good over there, and it's kind of cool when you kind of make an impact outside of your own department. Yeah, the master plan definitely worked out. This was a really good move, getting out of California. I'm in so much better shape now. Now we got GPS now. You can't get lost. Yeah, I used to say, a couple of years ago that I've made them more money than I've cost them. I'm to the point now where they've given me a lot of money, so I think it's probably swung the other way. But at the beginning, we had a whole bunch of, and I think I mentioned this before. We bought, when COVID was happening and there was all the supply chain issues. The company, bought a bunch of supplies, and they almost expired. And by getting those down and on the floor so people could use them, saved the company probably $250,000. So that was a good argument for keeping me. Hey, I've saved you more money than you've spent paying me, but unfortunately that's not the case anymore because I get paid pretty well at that place. But I got another one of those projects that's kind of brewing right now. That's a company wide thing that will be a big money saver if we can fix it. So we'll see. We're making progress on it. That's coming along well. Well, that's what it's all about. It's just really nice having a boss that appreciates you, you know. And I've had companies I work for where, the boss did appreciate me, but the times that I worked at the CD factories, I loved all those. But usually just starts with me looking at something and saying, "Hey, I need to do something with that." That porch is a perfect example. It was looking really horrible with all the mud, nests all over the place and the spider webs and the poor job of installing the electrical that I did out there initially. I just want to clean that up, and that's usually where it all starts. Is me looking at something and say, "Yeah, that looks ugly. We need to do something about that." Usually just a form of necessity. Yeah, chocolate chip ice cream. That sounds good. Yeah, he was out here right at the beginning, Darth, but he kind of retired to his room. I don't know. Let's see if we can coax him out. At the very least, we'll coax your pets out, right? That's funny. That usually works. Bye. You gonna come visit us? Your fans want to see you. I guess not. You've disappointed your fans by. I think magnifying glasses are usually measured by the magnification rate, 2x, 3x, 4x, whatever it is. But what you got to remember with magnifying glasses, the higher the magnification, the lower the depth of field. So the closer you have to be, or else it goes out of focus. Yeah, he's probably just taking a nap. I'm sure that's what the deal is. Okay, then you could probably get away with a 3 or 4x magnifier. Thanks for stopping in, Tracy. Good seeing you again. Well, usually when I'm out on the road, I'll just set the camera on the dashboard and get footage that way. I've been thinking about getting like a dash cam. Also thinking about like putting security cameras up around the house. I mean, not really that much of an issue. It's not really that needed. Not a lot of crime around here, but still. I don't have to go back to work now until Thursday. And then I'll be going into my short week. And I get paid next week, which is cool. Paydays on Fridays. I think it would have been more of an issue when I was in California. Like I said, the crime rate is pretty low around here. Yeah, you see all the time where, somebody forces a, tries to fake an accident, and the security or the dash cam video is what saves them. On the other hand, if you're at fault, that's going to show that too. I don't think I'll brake check any semis. That just sounds like a really stupid idea. Well, I was thinking more the front of the house, but yeah, I'd probably put some in the backyard too. I got to find the right one though. There's a lot of different brands out there for it. Um, and a lot of them do this are a subscription service kind of thing. I don't really want that. I just want, I'll buy a computer and we'll have a computer on property that has all that and connects to all the cameras. Yeah, I was thinking one on the porch, one on the left side of the house, kind of pointing forward, one on the right side of the house pointing forward, one back by the garage, and maybe two in the backyard. Yeah, it would have to be an infrared camera that works at night, definitely. And, that would be a good vlog too, setting those things up. Darth is quoting Yoda again. Well, I saw a video, John, one time where somebody did just that. They tried to slam on the brakes really quick and get the car behind them to rear end them. Well, the car managed to stop. And so the scammers, they pulled forward about 10 feet, jammed it in reverse, and intentionally backed into the car as hard as they could. And then the driver and his two co-conspirators got out of the vehicle, all holding their neck. It's like, oh, my neck, my neck. And that person would have gotten sued like crazy if if there actually had been, if there hadn't been the dash cam video to prove what happened. Yeah, that's it exactly. You can't trust. There's you can trust some people, but you know there's enough people out there that will try and pull something like that for an insurance scam. Another pecan rolling off the roof. I always question whether it's just falling off the roof or falling off the tree or actually being dropped by a critter, and it's got to be some got to be a squirrel doing it because it doesn't happen at night. If they're dropping off the tree randomly, it'll be happening at night. It's got to be squirrels because when it happens, it'll happen within like a 10 or 15 minute period, and then it'll stop. And that sounds like a squirrel going out there for a snack, or a couple of squirrels getting out there for a snack and dropping pecans. Oops. And then stopping. That one was quiet. I'm surprised anybody heard that one. The first one that happened, like what, 10, 20 minutes ago, that one was loud. So it wouldn't surprise me entirely that somebody heard that, but I'll take your word for it. Well, that's it. I intentionally feed the squirrels. I've got like wild critter food that I put out for them. Usually at the beginning of my work weekend, so that I can enjoy the animals on the eating, um, down on the ground rummaging for food and stuff like that. I don't want to be entirely just feeding them and getting them dependent on me. So, oh, okay, you're listening through good speakers. Okay, that's possible. Although it can only be so good because it's only as good as the microphone that picks up the sound. I did make a squirrel house. Yeah, there's one about a year and a half ago where I built a squirrel house, and then one 10 months or so ago where I put it up in the tree. There's squirrels living in it. Yeah, one of my video. I don't know. Was it a live stream? Let's see if I can find the live stream. If it was a picture, because it may be. Because I know it was either a picture um, that I put on a vlog, or it was one that I put on the live stream. Let's see here. Yeah, there it is. Must have been a live stream picture. Here, let me show you. No, not that. I guess we'll just have to do it this way here. Yeah, that was a picture I used for a live stream cover photo. And you can see a squirrel in there down at me while I was taking pictures of it. So, yeah, I have, like I said, it's up there and the squirrels are using it. So that's what I wanted. I figured they probably would because at one point I had a birdhouse out there and the birds never used it, but the squirrels started using it and they were chewing out the hole to make it big enough for them to get in. It was hard to get that thing up in the tree though. The thing weighs about 30 pounds. I haven't really named him. Thank you, Tiki Tiki. I hope I pronounced that correct. Welcome to the live stream. I thought it would be a good project, and the truth is, I like the fact that I got the squirrels in the yard. I always kind of liked seeing, you know, the wildlife in the yard. So, you know, it just I'm already feeding them. I've already got the bird feeder out there, so they got water. You know, and the fact that they were trying to use the birdhouse as a squirrel house just kind of encouraged me to try it on my own. And you know, there were a bunch of commercial ones that you could go out and buy, but I decided no. I just kind of looked at some of the designs and kind of built my own version of it. Yeah, the squirrels are sort of that way too. Some of them are shy and timid, will run away. Others are pretty brave. They know that I'm not really any kind of a threat to them, so they kind of will just sit there and kind of stare at me. Others get mad at me and kind of bark at me. It's kind of funny. I put a bird feeder out in front of the cat's window at once. It never really caught their attention. So, and it turns out the squirrels would just jump off the house and grab onto the feeder and they would eat everything. So I gave up on that. Well, and the squirrels that are in my yard, I'm sure it's the same ones all the time, and they come back over and over again. They know they get food, so I think they tolerate me. And some of them have gotten relatively tame because they know I'm the one that's feeding them, and they know I don't ever come after them and try and hurt them or anything. I see them in the area every once in a while, and every once in a while, a hawk or some sort of a bird will fly through the yard. But you know, I'd love to get rabbits at some point, but I'd be concerned about some of the birds taking them. So yeah, what I do is I take handfuls of critter food and kind of just throw it into the yard, so it's all spread around. I used to like get dried corn cobs, you know, with the corn on it, and just put it there, and the squirrels would go get that. But I thought it was kind of more natural looking to get individual kernels of corn and sunflower seeds and peanuts and other stuff like that, and throw it out in the yard and let them kind of scavenge around for it. Haven't really seen a lot of like blue jays in the area, but we got cardinals and we got robins in the area, and they're kind of fun. Some very colorful birds in the area. That's another thing that's fun about Texas. Yeah, the tomato plants aren't really producing anymore. Um, the jalapeno bushes, they're still doing good. I bought a little pamphlet thing that at the grocery store that shows some of the Texas birds. So I kind of keep that by the kitchen window there, so that if I see something, I also got a pair of binoculars I keep out there, so I can look out that window that you see right behind me there, and see the entire backyard, and you know, snoop on the squirrels or birds that are using the feeder and try and identify them. Well, I've got that rope chair that I got hanging on the patio cover out in the back, and sometimes I get out there and sit in that and watch the critters. Other than that, it's usually I'm back at the window behind me there with a pair of binoculars, and at that point I'm standing at the window. Got to have the jalapenos. Every year I've done a garden, I've had jalapenos. There's jalapenos and something else. Like I said, if I get out into the rope chair and just kind of sit there for a while, they will come. And even the birds are, pretty brave because the bird feeder itself is a good 30 feet from the back door, so I can come out, get into the chair, and not really freak out the local wildlife. Oh yeah, all the neighbors here are pretty quiet. The neighbors on both sides of me are just young families with young kids. So neighbors across the street, they're a little older family. They got kids like in high school and junior high and that age. But yeah, it's pretty quiet around here. Yeah, yeah, I really like this neighborhood. Anyway, I look here. We've put in our 2 hours here, so I think I'm going to pull the plug on this one. We'll pick this up again next week. Thanks everyone for stopping by. I had a good time. Hope you did too. See you next time. Good night.